Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to Video Game Strategies. This with this video series, I am going to touch base on some of the games I already played instead of just playing them. I'm gonna go over strategies with you guys, kind of like a survival guide to World of Tanks. Whether you're new or seasoned, how do you survive without spending money? There is a way. How do you survive without spending money, and how do you survive playing the game without constantly cheating and constantly doing this, that, and the other thing? How do you do things the right way? Well, that's what we're here for today. I'm going to basically give you the basic rundown of how to survive in this game, what to expect, and how to have fun when you're not having fun. I've been playing this game for 13 years, and I'm always having fun, even when I lose. How do I do it? I'm going to show you that today on Video Game Strategies. The main strategy today is the main idea with today's strategy is how to play the game and have fun without having to worry about winning and kicking everybody's butt and all that stuff. Just play the game and have fun. Today I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very easy. But playing this game for 13 years, and for 13 years, not once did I ever worry about wins-loss records. I don't care. How? It's called setting goals. When you first start the game, they're going to give you a choice on what country you want to represent, okay? So, pick a country you like, pick a country you're curious about. Mainly pick a country that you think might be fun. Of course, everybody in the United States is going to pick the US, of course. When I first started, I did. I got up to tier 5, I got up to tier 6 and decided, nope, I don't like it. So, I abandoned it. Then I started experimenting with Germany. I got up to tier 6. I didn't like it. I abandoned it. Seeing a pattern? I tried almost every country and I abandoned it halfway through. I even tried Britain. I got up to tier 6. Again, I abandoned it. It's crazy. All this work on all these countries, and I just abandoned them. Just totally abandoned them. Czechoslovakia, I got up to tier 6, and I abandoned it. Japan, I got up to tier 5 and went absolutely not, and abandoned it. Right there. It's ridiculous. None of this was a waste of time. None of it was. I just decided that I didn't like this country. I didn't like the gameplay of this country. It's not the country you're representing. It's the gameplay of the tanks. See, everybody thinks, oh, it's a great tank. It kicks everybody's ass. I like it, so I'm going to play that. I play it because I enjoy the tank. I enjoy the atmosphere it gives me. I enjoy learning about the country and the evolution of their tanks from the first year all the way to the end. It's fun. And you start from the beginning, you learn about this one, and you move on. Little by little, you move on to each and every one of them until you decide, I've had enough. Poland, I got up to tier 5 and said, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done. So, Sweden, I got up to tier 5 and I said, I'm done. And Italy was the last one. I got up to tier 5 and 1 tier 6 tank and said, I'm done. So I pretty much did half of every single country officially, except for one. One country I really enjoyed. Why? Because I wanted a challenge. I decided if I'm playing this game, I want a real challenge. I want a real heavy-duty challenge. I want something that's going to take me absolutely forever to do. I'm going to try and spend as little money as possible and try to do as much work as I can so I can accomplish one goal. When I accomplish that goal, I'm either going to stop playing or I'm just going to log on, play, and have fun. That's it. I decided to go with USSR. Why? Because it is the absolute largest country they have. Look at all these tanks. I had to unlock every single one of them. It was hard. This was a lot of work, guys. You have your artillery here. Your tank destroyers are here. Tank destroyers also on this tree, on this branch right here. You have your heavy tanks, which is going straight down the middle. Now, the heavy tanks connect with the artillery, with the tank destroyers right here, through this tank right here. KV-2. The KV-2 is connecting KV-1 and SU-152. You will once in a while see something like this. This means that after they made the KV-1, they made a tank called the KV-2, and they realized that we might have this. We don't think this is a very good idea to make this a heavy tank. Maybe we could use that in a different type of tank instead. Hence, this was created. So instead of making this one, they went this route. So instead of making only one tank destroyer, they had two they're working on at the time. That's a common occurrence. They end up having one for just blueprints and one for actual production. So don't forget, not all these tanks were actually created. A lot of them were only existed in blueprints and ideas. So a lot of them, they had an idea, they wanted to do something, they wanted to do it just like this, but they wanted to use the chassis of one tank, use the gun, and then plant it on another tank and make something else out of it. That's where they got the idea for the SU-152. They got the idea from the KV-2. They said instead of putting a turret, why don't they just mount it on a chassis and call it a tank destroyer? That could work. That could work. having a gun that big, in reality, having a gun that big on a KV chassis is it's kind of, in reality, it's kind of questionable. That's my opinion. I think it's kind of questionable to put a KV body with that large of a gun. It forces the entire tank to jerk backwards. Hence the reason why they have that really tall turret. The really tall turret, my guess, is to absorb some of that traction. But honestly, I don't think that really is going to make that much of a difference. Because down the road, that tank will require a lot more repairing than it would have taken. So instead of having an ultra reliable T-34 medium, instead of having an ultra reliable T-34 tank, they're going to have a maintenance nightmare KV-2, which is going to be in the shop every other mission. See, the thing is with tanks look cool, they're awesome in game. When you make something in real life, things kind of go haywire, things kind of go to shit in the long run. When you put a tank with a gun this big on it, and the tank wasn't meant to handle a gun that big, the tank tends to fall apart more often. For example, let's say the kickback from the gun is causing the suspension to break more often. Or maybe that big of a turret ring is causing the crew inside the tank to be uncomfortable. I mean, think of it that way. Something else. Maybe the crew, or maybe something else. Don't forget, the chassis is from a KV-1. Okay? So naturally, that chassis is going to be very, very vulnerable to damage because of the extreme weight that's going on top of that chassis. It's really hard to think of something like that. It's very difficult. So it's all about looking outside the box. And I have to give it to them, that really is looking outside the box. I mean, they took this chassis right here and put a gun that should have been on an artillery piece. They took an artillery gun and put it on a heavy tank body. Naturally, they cannot use the KV turret because the KV turret is not big enough to hold a gun that big. So they had to make a turret big enough to hold the gun and the ammunition both. So that ammo storage, instead of being in the chassis like it normally is, ammo storage is going to be in the turret. So the KV-2's weak point is the turret. So naturally the turret has to be heavily armored. Otherwise, the whole thing's gonna go, pop goes the weasel. Done. So, right away, you're probably guessing, now I understand. Granted, it's only a game, but they did come up with the idea. Whether they made this or not, they did come up with the idea for it. And the idea look good on paper, but in real life, you can't expect something like this to work. Look at the body. This is a KV-1 body right here. You're mounting a turret this big on a KV-1 body. It's barely wide enough to fit the turret. Barely. I mean, just barely wide enough. I mean, it almost doesn't, it almost hangs over. A sliver, it hangs over. You look. A tiny sliver. When this turret, thank God the turret's balanced. If it wasn't balanced, you turn the turret sideways, with top heavy, the tank could keel over sideways if the gun was too large. Why? Because of the extra large turret. And because of all this extra weight that's being put on the suspension, KV-1 suspension is no longer appropriate. So they have to make brand new suspension packs and install that on a KV-1 chassis when it's not meant to handle it. So this tank in game might work. In reality, absolutely not. Because this is a KV-1 and this is a custom-made turret, and this gun comes from one of their artillery pieces. If you really think about it, the idea is genius. I mean, having an artillery gun be considered a regular gun. Artillery pieces, when you straight shot an artillery, it'll make any tank go pop goes a weasel instantly. Artillery shells are humongous. They're huge. Artillery shells are gigantic. The guns are gigantic. Look at the millimeters on that gun. That's insanity. Okay, now look at the KV-5. See the difference? Much bigger difference. KV-5 versus the KV-2. Now, because the millimeters are, because it's a smaller millimeter gun, the gun has to be longer. The longer the gun, the more thrust the shell will have, and the faster it will go. Therefore, the better the chance of penetrating the tank, depending on what shell they use, of course. That's why you see guns with smaller millimeter barrels like this, with long barrels like this. Now, if they have a gun like this with a short barrel, that's not going to do much damage. For example, the KV-5 has how big of a gun? Let's see. Let's do some research. Modules. It has a 107 millimeter gun. 107 millimeters. Now let's look and see if we can find a gun from the medium tiers that has the same millimeter gun. Let's see how long it is. Let's start with the T-34. See if we can find a gun that has a similar millimeter gun. Similar millimeter gun. 76. Nope. The largest millimeter gun is 76. Okay, let's go to a higher tier then. How about we go to a T-44? That looks good. That does not, to me, to my, with my trained eyes, that does not look bigger. It actually is. If that one isn't. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the turret in the KV-1 was a 107, right? A medium tank has a 122 millimeter. Okay, guys? A medium tank has a 122 millimeter. Okay? 122 in a medium tank. Granted, they're lower, they're different tiers. We're not looking at tiers here. We're looking at gun in millimeters. Now this is a heavy tank. This is a heavy-duty tank, and this tank has a 122. This has the same millimeters gun as a medium tank. Why? Because a medium tank has a shorter barrel. Not really, but okay. Let's see. Do we even have the long barrel? This is the 76. This right now stock is the 76. Right now. If I were to buy this tank, put this gun on, this would be a lot longer. If I were to buy this tank right now, the gun would probably be out to here. This right now, this is the 76 millimeter gun. This is the low powered gun. Now, guns, shells like this, are smaller, and they require what's called a rifled barrel. Rifled barrel are these little straws you see right there. The bullet has, instead of traveling out straight, the bullet travels in a spiral, like a football does. The bullet travels in a spiral out of the barrel of the gun, like a football does. Therefore, it will technically travel faster. You don't need a longer, this way you don't need a longer barrel for it. Rifled gun barrels tend to have faster shells. Now, in the old days, they didn't have rifled gun barrels. They just had barrels the way they were. So that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. So now, if we were to buy this tank right now, let's say, for argument's sake, let's say if we do this as a test, okay, guys? Let's test something out. Let's buy this tank right now. We don't want to load ammunition. We don't want to load consumables. We don't want recruitment. Remember, we don't want any of this stuff, just the tank. Okay, now we have the tank. Now, let's take a look at the barrel. This is a heavy tank. This is the tank that the KV-2 turret is mounted on, okay? The KV-2 turret is the same length, but the width is actually kind of the same, if you think about it. The only thing that's different is that the turret is higher. The turret is a lot higher. It's higher because it needs to make room for that large barrel gun. It's not long, but it's a very large, long barrel. Now let's say we picked up, say we upgraded and wanted to pick up a larger gun. If you want a larger gun than this, it will not work with this turret. Why? Because anything larger than that, the turrets are mounted on what's called turret rings. Okay? Now, you have a gun that's mounted on a turret that has a shallow turret ring. The gun will be so heavy, the turret will rip right off the turret will rip right off the chassis. That's why they have this gun with this turret. Now, if you want to get a bigger gun, you have to upgrade the turret first. So you have to pay this for the turret, and then you have to decide what gun you want. Do you want 76 millimeter, or do you want the 85? If you want the 85, you need this turret first. Why? Because this turret has a deeper ring to it. This turret can handle more weight. Okay? Because that's a larger gun, it pulls more weight forward. So the turret ring is under a tremendous amount of stress. If you use if you use this turret, the turret ring will be under a tremendous amount of stress. So much stress the turret might come off. So a new turret has to be crafted to handle the excess weight that's going to be put on it. So if you want the bigger guns that do more damage, you have to replace the turret. So this goes away and this goes away. You have to pay for this. Sell the old module because you don't need it. Okay, now we have the newer turret on there. Let's go back. Now take a look at this new turret. Now the old turret, the turret length looks pretty much exactly, almost the same. The rear of the turret, right here, seems to be just that much longer, right there. The rear end of the turret ended right there. The turret ring was from here to here. The turret ring on this one is from here to here. It's a larger turret ring. It's also deeper, so it can handle the excess weight. Unfortunately for us, we didn't put the big gun on there yet. We're getting there. Now let's say we want to put on the 122. Okay? Now let's say we already researched this. Let's say we researched this tank, okay? And we decided that 76 millimeter is it doesn't do enough damage. So we need a longer barrel. Okay, so 85 millimeter is slightly larger, but it's not going to do enough damage. So we have a choice. We can either take 85 millimeter, it does a little bit more damage, or take the 122 millimeter, which does much larger damage, which really pushes that turret ring to its limit. So, for argument's sake, let's try the 122 and see how it does. We're going to sell the old turret first. Sell it. Sell it. Mount it. Oddly enough, this doesn't look like a 122 millimeter gun. But there it does. So instead of it being a pea shooter gun like this, it's like that. So the gun is not longer like it usually is. It's shorter. It's rifled, like I said before. See? The gun barrel is rifled. And it's smaller. Because the barrel's shorter, it doesn't need a straight barrel gun. It has to be rifled if it's shorter. I mean, even when they're long, they're rifled. But the short ones have no choice. They have to be rifled. Otherwise, the bullet will not travel out the gun fast enough to do any damage. No matter what shell you're going to use, it won't work. Now we have the large gun on the large turret. This is the maximum gun that this turret can hold. Now let's see if we can sell this tank. But I know we just got the tank. Trust me. I'm going to go back. I'm going to sell the tank. And I'm going to show you guys something pretty nifty. Let's see. KV-1. Okay, we got to sell it from here. Okay. So if you want to sell a tank, click the tier it is, tier 5. Look for the designation, KV-1. See that right there, KV-1. Now we're going to sell. Now it doesn't have crew. It doesn't have any ammo in it. We're going to sell the tank for less than we paid for it. So, even though we didn't use it, we still have to sell it for less than we paid for it. Which sucks, but what are you going to do? Nothing you can do. It's called depreciation, guys. Get used to it. No matter whether it's real life or this game, depreciation. You cannot sell it for the same amount you paid for it. So 201520. Sell. And the tank goes away. Now the gun the gun and the turret that was on that tank, where did that go? Check the depot. Go to the depot and check the depot. Trying to find that gun. Two. No. I think it sold the hull, the turrets, and all the guns. Good. Awesome. Now everything in the depot is all spare stuff, extra stuff. Why do you need it? Well, I don't know. Shells, it's always a good idea to hold on to shells. Because sometimes guns can use shells from other guns. Sometimes guns can use shells from other guns. Sometimes they work. So instead of having to pay for shells from scratch, just hold on to it. You never know, you might need it. So, plus, if you have a gold round, the price you get for it will be higher. For example, trying to find a gold round here. My guess is that the gold round will probably be the 800 range. Yeah, okay, let me guess. The gold rounds are probably going to be in the range of... See that? That's a gold round right there. See that? See the difference? If I were to sell this round right now, this is spare ammo right here. You don't need this. Once it's in the tank, you don't have to worry about it. Alright. Gold rounds, I only buy them if I'm using them. So, I preferably don't really use gold rounds a lot. So, okay, so we've got that. Okay, this is compatible with 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks. And this is a gold round. So, gold rounds I usually don't like to hold on to for too long. I don't like to hold on to gold rounds, period. So that's just the way I am. I'm crazy. I really am. But that's just the way I am. I don't like holding on to gold rounds. I like to get rid of them. So I have to look at them, I don't have to worry about them. Just gone. See all the credits come back little by little. See the credits? All the credits are coming back. That's because you're getting rid of stuff you don't need. Anything in the depot, that's all stuff that's hanging around your inventory and you're not using. Anything in the depot is currently not being used. But that just means you have to rebuy it later if you sell it from the depot. So be very careful when you sell something out of the depot. Make sure you won't need it. Me personally, I have no use for gold rounds. I like to play without them. I feel I don't need them. Most people have to have gold rounds. They feel like they can't play this game without them. That's fine for you. Go for it. I personally don't need them. I only play them. I only use gold rounds when I'm playing with my clan, when we're doing clan wars, because they require you to have gold rounds at all times when you're playing with clans. So that's the only reason why I will pay money for gold rounds. That's the reason why I have gold rounds in the first place. Which is the reason why I'm selling my gold rounds right now. Because I have no use for them. See, the thing is with me, I like to find a way around using gold rounds. Strategy-wise, if you want to take the easy road, if you want easy wins, easy shots, if you want everything easy, then spend your entire paycheck on this game and only use gold rounds, and you'll be the best player in the entire world. If you want to learn how to play this game the right way, any gold rounds you get sell out of the depot, only use gold rounds for clan wars. That's it. Got it? Take it from a 13-year veteran. Only use gold rounds for clan wars. That's it. I will explain the difference between the gold round and not gold round. I'm going to explain it right now. We're going to go in a tank. I'm going to show you how to tell the difference between a premium round. I call them gold rounds, but they're called premium rounds. They used to be called gold rounds because it used to cost you gold every time you fired them. So you were technically blowing gold out of your ass just to fire in one shot. This time you're paying silver instead of gold, but you're paying 18 times more silver. So it's costing you 2,400 silver per shot. Insane. Yes, I know. It is insane. But what are you going to do? You can't do anything about it. So. Okay. Let's see what we got. Let's pick a tank. Any tank. I don't care what it is. Let's see. Should we pick a tier 10? Let's pick a smaller tier tank. Just to show you guys. Let's pick a tier tank that's smaller that we actually have. Now, one that's not Soviet Union, because I don't have low tier tanks in Soviet Union. So let's see. Have a tier 6. Okay, we have a tier 6 Type 58. A tier 6 Chinese tank. That's not. This tank is a tier tank, tier 6 normal, that isn't a premium tank. This is Chinese. You go to research. I'm still not done researching this tank. So this tank, I still have these two to go. I did finish this. Now if I wanted to keep this tank for good, I could finish researching these two, and when it's fully done, I can just keep it and keep grinding it until I can unlock all three of these. You can do that. Or if you wanted to grind all three of, if you wanted to grind only one of these, then you do this. Keep this tank until only the tank you want is coming up next. Then grind this tank once it's fully done. Don't bother with this. If you need, now here's the thing, with tracks, sometimes the tracks you have on right now will not be able to handle any more weight than the standard. So sometimes tracks, you might have no choice but to upgrade tracks. You have no choice. Why? Because tracks provide stability. Tracks provide, tracks can bear more weight. Now, by putting on a bigger turret and a bigger gun, you're putting more weight on the tank. So naturally you need a better suspension system and better road wheels. So you're going to need a bigger track. So you're going to need bigger tracks on this tank in order to handle a bigger turret and a bigger gun. So naturally, your first upgrade, if you're keeping the tank, should be tracks. Always do your tracks first before you upgrade anything else. If you intend on keeping the tank, always research the tracks first. If you're not keeping the tank, you're just gonna blow right through it. Research the turret and put it on. Try to put it on first. If you research the turret and you purchase it and will not let you put it on, then you have no choice. Then you have to research the tracks. If the tracks you have on are able to handle more weight, then you do not need to upgrade the tracks. Here's the thing. If you wanted to add this, you say, hey Mike, the tank is too slow. Slow as balls. I don't like it. Okay, if the tank is too slow, that means you have to upgrade the engine. If you're going to upgrade the engine, you're going to put a significant amount of weight on top of that tank. So keep this in mind. This tank will not be able to handle this, and this on those treads. You're going to need these treads first if you ever intend on getting the engine. Without a doubt, a bigger engine is extremely heavy. Extremely heavy. Most likely you would probably get away with one upgrade on original tracks. Only one. You can get away with one upgrade. See, with me, I was able to get two upgrades with this tank. But if I want the engine, I have to get the tracks. So eventually down the road, I'm thinking of going with IS-2 and T-34-1. I'm not going to go for this. So my best bet, I'm going to be at this tank for a long time. My best bet down the road would be to get this next, then get the engine, then grind this thing to the ground until I get 40, 80, until I get 84,000 experience on this tank. Then unlock these two tanks, sell this tank, and sell all this stuff here. So all these components I have extra on here. Then go in the depot, sell all the ammunition I bought for it, and sell all these components in the depot. If you sell the tank, you are not selling all the components you unlocked. For example, this turret and this gun, you don't sell the turret and the gun, it's still going to be there. When I upgraded to the higher gun, I sold these right away. In the past, you weren't able to do that. In the past, you had to go over. In the past, you had to purchase the gun, purchase the turret, then you had to go into the depot, sell the gun, sell the turret, and sell all the shells for that gun. Then you were able to move on to the next set, so to speak. Then you pick up shells for the new gun, and then decide whether you want to go with the new engine or not. If you're only going to research one tank, then stick with what you have. If you want more than one tank out of this, you might want to consider getting the engine, which means you have to get this, then the engine. Then you can continue with unlocking this. Don't buy, unlock only. Unlock, grind this until you unlock the tanks you want. Unlock this, then unlock this. Once you've unlocked these two, make absolutely positive that you do not want to unlock the other tree. Once you're positive you don't want to unlock the other tree, then grind this tank until you can get enough cash to buy both those tanks. Once you do, then you can sell this tank, then sell all the components in that tank, then transfer the crew from this tank over to one of those tanks right there. Probably best bet, this is a medium tank. What you always want to do is you want to try and transfer a crew from a medium tank to another medium tank. So if you're going to pick up, if you're driving a medium tank right now, you want to make sure that you are putting the crew in another medium tank. Never put medium tank crews in heavy tanks. whether you retrain them or not, it's still going to be hard for them because they're not used to such a big tank. So it's going to be very difficult for the crew. Even if you retrain them, it's still going to be difficult for the crew. And it's still not going to be 150%. So that's a good strategy for you. A good survival strategy for you. This game is as simple as you want it to be, but as complex as you want it to be. I tend to make it more complex than it should be because I'm the type of person who I don't like to spend $10 million on shells. Why should I take the easy road out when I could do it the hard way and get it done? Get it done the hard way, which to me is fun. It's fun doing that. I like doing things the hard way because it's fun. For me, it's fun. I don't like taking the easy road. Taking the easy road is never fun because no challenge. I like to have a challenge. I enjoy having a challenge, actually. So I never take the easy road, ever. You will never see me use a gold round in this game, ever, unless I'm playing in Clan Wars. Then I have no choice but to go premium everything. Premium equipment, premium rounds, premium everything. Then I have absolutely no choice in the matter. Clan Wars, I do understand the need for them to say, hey, can you kind of upgrade everything? Can you kind of spend a little bit more? Because our clan depends on it. You have to be playing your best. Whatever tricks, I know you like doing things a certain way, but can you please just do things differently for us? So I don't mind. So when you are in a clan, be prepared. Be prepared to do things you don't like to do that often. So make sure you have the good guns. Make sure you have the good rounds in there. Make sure you have the right equipment in there. Make sure you have the best crew in there. Make sure whatever tanks they want used for Clan Wars, hold on to that tank and keep it the way it is. And only use it for Clan Wars. Only use it for Clan Wars. Take one tank, set it up for Clan Wars, and only use that tank for Clan Wars. Only for Clan Wars. So if they want you to have a tier 8 tank, pick a tier 8 tank that do some research online. There's got to be somebody, whether it's in videos or whatever the case may be. There has to be one tank that's utterly broken. I mean, that's one broken tank in this game in the tier you want to play. Find out what makes it broken, what you have to do to get it broken, set it up, set the tank up just the way it's supposed to set up. Gold rounds and everything, all that cheap shit. Only use it for the Clan Wars. Never use it for any other mode other than Clan Wars. Why? Because clans depend on you playing your best game. Granted, you can play your best game without doing all that. But this is not just you we're talking about. This is an entire group of people that's depending on you to do good. I'm not the type of person that likes to just blow my entire paycheck on a game. But if your clan depends on you to kick some ass, and you're not kicking ass, you're dying like crazy, they're gonna kick you out of the clan. I'm being plainly honest with you guys, they're gonna kick you out of the clan. And if they do, that's your own fault. Because I'm warning you right now, if you're in a clan, be prepared to have one tank set up for only clan wars. Make sure that particular tank has none of this fancy paint on it. Make sure it has only camouflage paint. When you have a tank set up for clan wars, make sure you have camouflage. Make sure you put camo on it. Okay, guys? Make sure this goes on a clan wars tank. Make sure you don't have those fancy styles that you get from like Christmas and Halloween and stuff like that. Make sure it doesn't have these. Okay? Make sure it doesn't have these on at all. Okay? Make sure it has camouflage. Make sure you put camouflage on the tank. Make sure it has camouflage in the right places. Put it on the gun, on the turret, on the hull. And I'm telling you right now, even put it on the treads. If the tank is able to handle putting camo on the treads, put it on. If it can't, don't put it on. So, some tanks you cannot put any camouflage on treads. Some tanks you can. So be it. Okay. So now you know the basics of how things work and how you can make things easy. Now you know how to make things easier for you. Not for anybody else. I'm not teaching you how to win every time. I'm not teaching you how to kick everybody's ass in one shot. I'm teaching you how to survive. How to survive in this game without spending your entire paycheck. How to finish an entire tree like this without spending an entire paycheck on the process. This took 13 years to finish. But I did it spending as little money as possible. The only thing I spent money on was premium tanks. And I'll tell you why in a minute. I spent only money on premium tanks. And the reason why I did so, I'm going to show you guys right now why I spent money on premium tanks. Okay, here's the premium tanks I spent money on. Some of them I liked the way they looked. Some of them I got through contests. Some of them I got through free giveaways. Some of them I purchased with real money. Only ones I purchased with real money are from the Soviet Union. That's it. Anything that I have from the Soviet Union, I purchased with real money. Anything I have that's not part of the Soviet Union, I got for free. From a contest, or I got through a special event, or a mission or something like that. Something like that. Or I got for free through sometimes the Christmas specials. For example, this was part of a Christmas giveaway. They gave this tank away for Christmas one year. Patting the tank. So this is patting the tank. This was a Christmas giveaway. I took it. I don't care. This was another Christmas giveaway that they gave away one year. I don't care. I'll take it. It's a tank, it's free, I'll take it. I don't care. I'm not judging. It's good. Whether I use it or not use it, I'll take it. I'm not gonna sell it. I'll keep it. You can't make me use it, but I'll take it. This is worth it. I'll take it. I'll keep it. I might use it one day. You never know. I might get bored. Decide, hey, I want to try this thing. Never tried it before. That's fine. Now this I got for free. I don't remember how I got this for free, but I did get this for free. I don't remember where or how I got it, but I just got it. This is a tier 3 light tank. I don't remember where I got this from. I don't remember how I got it, but I did get this tank. This is a German tank, which I don't really do German, but that's okay. This tank I received through one of the Christmas giveaways. The only reason why this doesn't have a Christmas decoration on it is because I went nuts decorating this thing. I went nuts decorating this thing because at the time I didn't have anything higher than a tier 8. So I didn't have, when I first got this, I didn't have a tier 9 or a tier 10. And none of my tanks I owned were able to hold the 3D styles that they had to this. So I just went nuts. I put every 3D style I could think of that I owned on this tank. Honestly, I don't need it. I don't really need it. But I put it on there anyway. So what I could do is, here's what you could do is, if you have no intention of ever using the damn thing, 3D attachments. Now you can take the 3D attachments off if you want to. See this? Click this. I'll show you what's on the tank, okay? Now, I have a searchlight on there, right there. You can take that off. I have this on there. I have that on there. I have that on there. And I have that on there. I can take all this off. This is how you do that, by the way. That's how you take off the 3D attachments. All you have to do is simply that. Okay, guys? Now what you do is, if you want to redo from here on in, if you want to redo the outside the way it looks now, you can also do that. Because this was a Christmas tank, I'm going to now put a Christmas one on this tank. I'm going to put Christmas on this tank. So, see, this, that looks like, it's supposed to look like an orange, a tangerine. That's supposed to look like a carpet. So, it's supposed to look like a gingerbread man. A carpet might be fun. Try that. That looks pretty cool. That's not bad. Looks like a carpet. Okay. Okay, now all the 3D attachments I had on this tank have been taken off. This premium tank is free of all that garbage. Now it's back to its normal thing that it normally was. So, except I put one of the Christmas themes I had on there. Because I don't use this tank an awful lot, I've taken all the stuff that I really like off of it. I don't use this. I have higher tier tanks that my stuff can use that stuff with better. So now we have, here's a German tank that's normal, average, everyday camo. That should have it. That should have it. This is Soviet tank. This is a 3D style. A 3D style that I was able to get for free through one of the battle passes a long time ago offered the 3D style for this tank. But you had to eventually buy the tank with gold. So I went through the battle pass and got this 3D style, but didn't have the tank. So I kept the style. Down the road, I looked at the 2D styles. I went to down the road. I noticed that there was something on this tank, so I equipped it, and this popped up. Back in the old days, the 3D styles used to be on. Back in the old days, these 3D styles used to be on the 2D style. Now they didn't. Back in the day, this didn't exist back in the old days. You had to just look through all of your 2D styles and see what you have that's new. Now, with World of Tanks 2.0, they have this right here. This will tell you if you have a 3D style for that tank. It just so happens that I have a 3D style for this tank because I won it as part of the battle pass at the time. But I didn't have the tank, but I won the style. See, the battle pass, they'll give you the style for that tank, but they won't give you the tank. You have to actually own that tank or get that tank. I looked it up. I saw that that tank was a Soviet tank, so I tried my best, did the best I could to get to the end of that battle pass, so I can get that 3D style. But not all 3D styles you can purchase. Some of them you have to earn. So that's exactly what I did. I earned it, and I got the 3D style that went with it. Pretty nifty, huh? Okay, now. No, that's not it. That's not it. This, okay. Now this is a 3D style. It may not look like it, but it is. See the pock marks in the armor? See that screen on top? That's all part of the style. See that? That's part of the style right there. See that open door? Again, part of the style. All that's part of the style right there. See that? That's part of the style. It may not look like much, but this has 3D style on it. See that? Again, part of the style. That's 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 also part of the style. And so is that. And so is that gun. That gun is also part of the style. See? Onyx. Again, this has the 3D style on it. That's the 3D style. Now, look at this tank without the 3D style on it. This is what the tank looks like with nothing on it. See the difference? This is what 3D styles do. They don't make it better. They just make it look different. So it's not boring anymore. Now, not boring anymore now. Now it looks normal. Now it looks like it was used. You know what I mean? It looks like it's so used. Instead of being brand new, it looks like a war tank. It looks like it's been through a bunch of wars already. It looks like they started to add a little stuff to it. Kind of like the Russians do right now in Ukraine. They're adding screens and cages on top of their tanks. That's exactly what they're doing. They're adding screens and cages on top of their tanks. Why? They're doing that because of the drones. So while the tanks decided to make styles, the Soviet tanks with screens all over it. Interesting. Now let me show you something. Show you a tank that has a built-in 3D style. Hopefully I can find it. Nope, I'm gonna have to really search. I'm gonna really search for this thing. Where's this tank? Come on, let's go. Yep, here it is. Now this tank is a premium tank. This tank does not have a 3D style on it. At least I don't think it does. No, see that? It don't have one. This tank does not have a 3D style on it. Why? Because when I purchased this tank exactly like this. This tank came to me looking like this. This is an IS-2 with the screens all over it. It's got cope cages all over it, just like they do in Ukraine. It's a simple it's a basic IS-2 with cope cages all over it. Now, how does this work in the game? Let me explain something to you. When you're using an armor-piercing round, those cages do jack and its friend. Nothing. Jack shit. If you're using a high explosive round, high explosive rounds have a tip on it. When that tip hits anything, the round explodes. High explosive rounds are supposed to touch the tank itself, explode, and actually the explosion is supposed to do damage, and everything else is supposed to spread and do damage to anything else around it. All sensitive equipment on top, everything. You can aim at the any slots that they're looking out of. If you aim for slots they're looking out of, you'll probably injure the crew members with the high explosive rounds. You use one of these rounds, you aim for stuff like that, you'll injure the crew members that are currently looking out of those slots. And you'll probably damage components that are nearby too. For example, if they're storing ammunition in the turret, you'll ammo rack the turret and the turret will fly off. You'll break the gun, kill the gunner, kill the loader, and ammo rack the tank and cause the turret to toss. Just by aiming a high explosive round, simple HE round, right in that slot, the turret will come flying off. Why? Because if that's where they store the ammunition, if that's where that tank in particular is going to store the ammunition, not in the hull, then you're golden. 90% of most tanks store the ammunition in the hull though. So that I'm not exactly sure of. So you really gotta kind of think. Where would a tank? Of course the gun's here. And they obviously have a loader, a driver, a gunner, and the commander who doubles the radio man. So they obviously have a driver, they obviously have a gunner and a loader. So, knowing that they have 2 crew members to work the gun, you have the gun here, and the gunner is going to be right here. Now the gunner is going to look out that either that slot there out of that stanchion, or you're going to peek out of that hole, which shouldn't be there, but it is. Again, now you know why that screen is there, because artillery fires down, it won't do damage, it won't kill the crew members. The screen is meant to protect against artillery shells. In a way, that's why the screens are on there. That's anti-artillery. The screens are meant to protect against artillery shells. Why? Because artillery is known not to use armor-piercing shells. Artillery only uses high explosive shells. Artillery uses these shells only. Why? Because their shell travels a longer distance and gets more momentum to reach the target. So it doesn't need armor piercing. Plus, armor on top of the tank is naturally lower than the rest of the tank. The armor here and the armor here is naturally higher than all the rest of the whole tank altogether. The strongest armor is going to be right here. This is the strongest armor in the entire tank, right here. Second strongest is going to be right here. And maybe here if they decide to put decent armor there. The weakest armor is here. weakest armor in this tank would be here. And probably here. And here. See that? The fuel tank. I know, retarded ones with fuel tanks on the outside of the tank. You know what? Don't talk to me, talk to the Soviet Union. They built it. They built the fucking thing. Those are fuel tanks, guys. If you set those off, the fuel cooks off, the engine is right here. The entire engine is right here. The exhaust is right here. The smoke billows out of. Air intake is right here. So naturally, artillery is going to aim for here first because it's a larger target. And this is where the engine is. So they will break the engine and force you to use a repair module to repair the engine completely back to normal. Otherwise, it's not going to work. When someone breaks, when somebody not damages it, when somebody breaks it, completely breaks it, you need a repair kit in order to fix it so that it works. Otherwise, the tank is not moving at all. Now, you won't see air intakes like this a lot on tanks. Some tanks have it, some tanks don't. Air intakes are important because it keeps the engine running cool. And that's quite important actually, because if the engine doesn't run cool and overheats, then you got a problem. Then the engine could explode, the engine could break down. You could have some problems here. You could have some serious problems. Think of it this way. I've been going over a lot of stuff you probably think is garbage. I'm never gonna need it. This is all stuff to think about. That I would like you to just don't take it to heart. Just think about it for a minute. You're looking at a tank, right? Try to picture in your mind where the crew members are and where objects in the tank are. Where's the engine? Engine's right here. What's the engine connected to? The engine is connected to the transmission and the drivetrain and the fuel tank. So the transmission is probably right here. Fuel tanks are right here. So the back, you never, on this tank, you never want to expose this. You expose this, you're dead in one shot. Hence, they have machine gun sconce right there. And they have a viewing port right there, an external machine gun right there. Just in case they get caught, they have some way of defending themselves without having to turn the turret around and fire one shot. In an emergency, they have those in real life. So it's better to have those than not have anything. So I do understand where they're coming from, and I do understand that yes, it's better having that than have nothing. So now these things right here, those are air. Those are where the smoke comes out of. Smoke billows out of these. This is the air outtake. When the tank's driving, the black smoke comes flying out of here and flying out of here. So it's going to be a training here and the engine's right here. So the intake is right here. But I'm guessing this is air meant for the transmission. The transmission is right here. Which means the driver is right here, and because they have no radio man, that means that because the driver and the radio man are the same person, see, they're both the same person, which means they don't have room in this tank for a radio man, which means that gunner and loader are the gunner and loader are up here, which means all the shells are right here, probably mounted on the wall, which means one well-placed shot right through this wall will cook off all the ammo. Game over. And that's not an armored spot. So you could basically figure out where the weakest spots would be in a tank just by looking at it. You would think it's a tank. It can't die in one shot. Oh yes it can. Depending on where the ammo and the fuel are stored, that's where the weakest spots are. Ammunition in this tank would be stored right here. Why? Because the loader and the gunner are in the turret. Loader and the gunner, some ammunition. All the spare ammo is kept down here. So naturally you can't aim for the turret. You really want to kill them in one shot. Cook the ammo, or take the engine out, or take the fuel out. Soviet tanks are very easy to kill. Hence the reason why Ukraine is having such a field day with all the Russian tanks, because Russians are morons when they make tanks. The Russian army does not know how to make tanks. The Soviets didn't know how to make tanks. They just made a lot of them. So that's basically what it boils down to, guys. Now let's look at different countries. Instead of looking at Soviet Union, let's look at the United States. Now I don't have a lot of tanks in the United States, so we'll do the best we can. Personally, I don't know. This one didn't actually exist, but we'll go by this one. Here's an American tank. This wasn't a real tank. This was probably just made for the game. But I would say this has typical statistics. Now, let's go over some stuff. I know nothing about American tanks. So, I'm going to show you guys how to learn about tanks you're not sure of. You have no knowledge on. I'm going to show you guys how to tell you're in a country and you know nothing about that tank. Click this. Click armor. Okay. Now you're going to move around the tank. Anything that's blue is called spaced armor. That's not solid armor. It's armor it's kind of like one shot, it's gone. So spaced armor is weak. It's very weak. It can be taken out quite easily. For example, you could break the gun. You could break the tracks. You could hit this and that. See, that's an observation device there. That's a screen. Only 25 millimeters. That's very small. See that? That's another observation device. This may be an observation device, but this is what's called a scope. It's a big long tube with two mirrors. One mirror at the top, another mirror at the bottom. You look at it, right? And it shows you what's in front of you. They're not looking directly into it, but they're looking through a scope, a mirrored scope. This is an actual window. There's a face staring right out that window. So, if their shot breaks this 50 millimeter glass, whatever's left is going into the tank. You shoot this, it won't go into the tank, but it will break the observation device. So this is a window. You break this, access will go into the actual tank itself. This is a window. It says observation device. It's actually a window. Now, this is typical for American tanks. One for the radio man, one for the commander, and one for the driver. Actually, this is the radio man, this is the commander, this is the driver. Now, this is for the gunner, the machine gun. That's the observation device. Now, you're probably wondering, where's the observation device for the gunner for this one? I'll tell you where he is. Remember I said there's a loader in here? That's what this is for. This, and this. The loader tells the gunner how many degrees up, how many degrees down. So the communication between the loader and the gunner has to be absolutely spectacular in order to get this tank running smooth. The tank has to be well trained in order to get this tank to even work. So the loader and the gunner have to be practically on top of each other. Naturally, I would imagine given the size of the gun, this is a 120 millimeter gun. Given the size of the gun, the shells of this tank are going to be awful big. So let's see how many crew we have to deal with. We have 4 crew members. We have 1 driver, 1 loader, and 1 gunner. Okay. And 1 commander. That's the way things work in American tanks. American tanks, a lot different. You actually notice, in American tanks, there's no external fuel tanks that we know of anyway. Now let's go back into the armor, search for any fuel tanks. Let's see if there's any external fuel tanks. What I think fuel storage might be here. Engines here, and the fuel is probably right behind it. Which is the reason why they put armor on top. What they didn't realize is that ammunition is stored in this one area. So if an artillery blows a shot right here, it'll cook off the ammunition, but will not cause the fuel underneath it to explode, because the blast will go this way and down. And naturally, to prevent the noise from getting extreme, they're going to have blast doors covering the to help in maintenance, to help access the engine in case of maintenance. They have to have access to the engine because they have to be able to maintain it. So they're going to have what's called blast doors. So inside the tank, they're going to have two doors that slide open, showing the engine right there. Now these doors have to be armored enough to withstand a blast from the engine. So if they cooked off the engine, naturally, if the engine cooks off, the only problem is, the engine, see the armor underneath, the turret? It's very low. If the engine explodes, explosion comes up, and it cooks off the ammunition that's stored back here, the entire tank will explode. Why? Because the armor underneath this turret is so small, and the fuel is right there. It's an accident waiting to happen. It's called faulty engineering. Nothing in this world is perfect. Nothing in this world is gonna be perfect. Just do the best you can. Study the tanks you do have. Know what weak spots you do have. Okay, guys? And know what you can show to the enemies and what you shouldn't. Know that if you own this tank, never show this. Try not to show this. Try not to show this. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay, guys? 1, 2, 3. Everything else, don't bother. Just know this. Make sure with World of Tanks 2.0, make sure you check armor on every tank you own, and make sure you pay attention to everything on that tank. Make sure you know what to keep concealed, what you should show, and what you shouldn't show. So if you're coming up over a hill and the armor is green here and the armor is not thick enough here, you're gonna peek over a hill and point the gun down. You have to know that the armor underneath here is thick enough to withstand a shell or two. You have to know that the armor underneath here is strong enough. If the armor's not strong enough, don't bother. You have to go haul down then. You have to only put yourself in a position you can go haul down. Now, if you're playing in a Soviet tank, haul down scenarios are very, very, very common. Every Soviet tank I've ever owned, I've always gone haul down. If I had the ability to go haul down, I went haul down. Not all tanks it would go haul down. Again, you do the best you can. I'm going to pick a very common premium tank as an example. A lot of people have this tank in the game, so we're going to check the armor. Okay. Right off the bat, I'm seeing some serious armor. Red. We have over 180 millimeters on the undercarriage. 180 on the upper hull. The turrets are 160. 180. Granted, you have observation device has 0 millimeters. They're open slots with no glass. So if they shoot here, it's an open season. If they put a HE shell right in here, open season. No armor at all. Nothing. Not even glass. So, even though there's lots of armor here, this is going to be your weak spots right here. So you might have to tilt. You might be forced to tilt it slightly. So instead of having all three, you only have 2 or 1. See that? Now also, if you get caught behind, again, the weak spots are going to be on top. 50, 40, 40, 90. Weak spots are on back and back and on top. Now this is the chassis. Naturally, a chassis is supposed to be weak. Why? Because the chassis has to do with the tracks. So if you aim at this, most likely you're probably going to blow the track out. Why? Because this is not armored. This is just sheet metal right here, covering the turret. So the shots are going to go right through this, into the track, and blow the track. So having this here is kind of like you have open tracks, but you don't. So it sucks, but I'd rather than blow a track out than shoot anything else. Now, keep in mind, we still don't know where the fuel is. There's no big fuel tanks on this. I thought the fuel tanks were here. But they can't be, because it's handles. See the handles? These are not fuel tanks. I thought they were fuel tanks. They're not. Funny feeling. Fuel tank. I have a funny feeling they're morons. The fuel tank is right here. Why the hell would they put the fuel tank on the back? There's the filler cap right there. See it? There's the filler cap for the fuel. Which means this is the fuel tank with only 90 armor protecting it. 90. And here's the engine with the two exhausts. Here and here. And intakes here, 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 and here. And these are the two hatches so you can work on the engine. Right here. The escape hatches for this tank here. And I think that's it. Yep, there's one escape hatch for the whole, every crew member. Open up this hatch, every crew member has to climb out. Climb down this ladder here. And the other one here. The whole crew has to escape out of the top hatch. So, if an artillery shell rains hell on top of that hatch and then they can't open it, the entire crew dies in the tank because they can't get out. Because they only have one hatch getting out of that tank. So, this tank in general is a pretty beastly tank when it comes to armor. The weak spot are these three holes with 0 armor. No armor at all whatsoever. Not even glass. They just have their open ports. They're ports. They're not observation devices, they're open ports. It's blue armor. See that blue? Blue means there's no armor. There's no armor here, no armor here, and no armor here. Okay? Purple means that it's severely heavy armor. Red means there's heavy armor. We're talking heavy armor. Red means heavy armor. Even though it's 150, it's still considered heavy armor. Now, all the ammunition for this tank is probably going to be right here. But, as you can see, it's well armored. Again, we have a problem. Look what they did. If, God forbid, someone takes a shot at that turret and the ammo cooks off, ammo could explode. And all that explosion could blow the bottom of the turret out and damage the fuel that's being stored or damage the engine and the fuel that's being stored in this one area. It could quite possibly damage the engine and maybe and the engine damage could cook off the fuel, which could make the whole tank explode. So they probably have a severely huge thick blast door right here to protect the crew from the engine explosion. So the crew will be safe. The tank will not. So With this new edition of World of Tanks 2.0, this is what you can do with it. This is what you can do with this armor thing. You can look and say, gee, they have the driver, and if they have, let's see, who do you have in this tank? You have a commander, a gunner, a driver. So the commander, and the driver are right here. Okay, guys? We know that. We have a radio operator, okay? So we have commander, driver, radio operator, two loaders, and a gunner. So the gunner is going to be right here, and the two loaders are going to be right here. One loader is going to retrieve the ammo from the racks. Second loader is going to take the ammo from the first loader and load the gun with it. Having two loaders means that one person gets the ammo, second person loads it from the gun. So working together as a team. So you have three people in one turret. That turret has to be heavily armored. And of course, we just checked. The turret is well armored. One thing that's not well armored is here. So you won't have to ever worry about ammunition cooking off and exploding with this tank because there's no way to get in. The hull on the other hand, easily penetrate the hull. Easily. I mean, people always joke and say that the little R2-D2 is a tinderbox waiting to happen. People call that thing R2-D2. I don't know why, but they do. Here's why they say that. Little R2-D2 had 3 open holes. That's why everybody keeps saying that that thing is a weak spot. That's because there's 3 open holes there. There's no armor, no glass, no nothing. Just 3 open holes. The 3 open holes are for the radio man. It's for the radio man, the driver, and the commander. That's what those holes are for in the front of the tank. That's for those 3 crew members. So if you aim for those three slots, you'll kill the crew members. One at a time, you'll kill them. So if your goal is to only kill the crew members, and you're facing a KV-5 AG shell right here, you'll kill all 3 of them. Granted, this is 180 millimeters of armor. But this is 0 millimeters of armor. Because that is a hole, that's nothing. So, around it is 180. But the hole itself is nothing. There's no glass, there's nothing. So, See now, sometimes depending on your angle, the armor changes. Now, if you look, see the color change? Right here. Armor's less than 180. Right there, armor's less. It's 40 millimeters less armor right here. Now, here, if you shoot something here, it'll just plank off because it's what's called sloped armor. Sloped armor, you never aim for sloped armor unless they're going over a hill. Then you aim right at it because it's straight armor. When somebody's coming at you head on and they're sloped armor, don't shoot on the carriage. Unless you have a high explosive shell. Armor piercing only works for armor that's straight. Because it has to hit it. Armor piercing shells have to impact armor and go through it. If you're hitting an armor that has, if you're hitting a tank that has spaced armor, and let's say you're hitting a tank undercarriage, right? And undercarriage looks like this. You're trying to aim a shot. It can't go in because it's on an angle, right? So naturally the shot's going to go path of least resistance. It's going to ricochet. That's why they always, that's the full reason why most tanks have less armor in the undercarriage, because they figure the shot will ricochet automatically anyway. But if they have an armor piercing high explosive round, it's gonna go right through. It's not gonna ricochet, it's gonna go right through. Why? Because armor gold rounds are what's called armor piercing high explosive. It's a high explosive shell with an armor piercing tip. The tip pierces the armor. Once the armor pierces, the tip sets off the rest of the shell and the shell explodes inside the tank. That's what a gold round does. That's why it's 2,000 silver for one shell. That's why you're spending 2,000 on one shell. You're getting a penetration shell and a high explosive shell in one shell. Instead of doing one or the other. That's why gold rounds are so broken. That's why everybody uses them. Because you're getting the benefits of a high explosive shell and the benefits of an armor piercing shell in one shell. So instead of using one or the other, you're using both in one. But you're spending $3,000 on one hit. So if you're spending $3,000 on one hit, you better make damn sure that that thing is going to go through. Because if it's not, you just blew 3,000 credits on one freaking shot. You better make damn sure that thing's going to hit. Because if that tank explodes, you're completely screwed. I'm telling you right now. That's the reason why I cannot stand gold rounds. That's why gold rounds suck. Because financially, you cannot handle, you absolutely cannot handle this game when you're playing with gold rounds. You cannot survive. There's no way of surviving a game when you're playing with gold rounds. You cannot survive. So survivability is extremely difficult. Now, let's check the armor on a tier 3, okay? Now, this is not very good armor. This sucks. 15 millimeters. That's nothing. Let's check the guns, the average guns of a tier 3. Okay? Let's go to an American tank in tier 3 and let's go look at their guns, okay? Tier 3. Let's look at the gun on the M3 Stuart. About vehicle. Okay? This is a tier 3 tank. This will attack that tank. The tank we have has 15 to 25 millimeters of armor throughout the entirety of the tank. This tank has a gun that has the HE round has 19 penetration. The standard penetration round has 69 penetration, and the gold round has 93 penetration. So, in a way, the gold round, if you're really on the bottom of the barrel, popping gold rounds into people really is beneficial because the lower tiers, because the rounds are not going to cost a hell of a lot. Rounds for lower tier tanks are much cheaper. I'll prove it to you. I'll bring out a tank, low tier, that has gold rounds in it. Let me see if I can show you guys a low tier tank that has gold rounds in it. Alright, here's the gold round right here. This is a tier 2 tank. This is tier 2. Okay, guys? This tank has a standard round, an HE round, and has a gold round. The gold round costs you 800 credits per shot. You get 47 penetration, same as armor piercing. 47 damage, the same as armor piercing. The penetration is 84 in the gold round, and armor piercing is 51. This penetrates better, but does the same amount of damage. So if you're absolute bottom of the tier, if you're in a tier 4 battle, this is a tier 3 and you're stuck in a tier, this is a tier 2. Let's say you're stuck in a tier 3 battle and you're way in the bottom of the barrel. You're going to use gold rounds the entire game, or HE rounds. The reason why is because if you're bottom tier, the penetration is not going to be high enough to penetrate anything. Or you could use a gold round and try to aim for those, you know, those, remember I was showing you guys those slots that have the blue? Those observation slots, if you see any observation slots, aim for those. With these rounds, they'll go right through. And the damage is significantly higher, as you can see. Damage is 62 versus a 23 penetration, which is nothing. You can't penetrate anything with 23. That's it. Now the shell velocity is not as high also, which means the bullet doesn't travel as fast. Why? Because it doesn't need to. You see, the higher shell velocity is, the more likely that shell is to go through the tank. The better the penetration will be. So this is a higher penetration than this one. So naturally, shell velocity will be higher. See, 757 versus 956. If the shell velocity is higher, then penetration is going to be higher. So you don't have to look at the penetration. All you have to do is look at the shell velocity. If the shell velocity is higher, then that is going to guaranteed have a better penetration, whether it says it or not. The faster the bullet travels out of that gun, the better of a chance it has of going through the tank. Hands down. It doesn't need to have a better penetration rate. The faster the bullet is coming out of that gun, the better the chance of it going through the tank. Not damaging, through the tank. The damage is how much explosives are in that shell. So naturally, the size is going to penetrate the tank, but not going to really explode, because where's the charge going to go? There's no room for it. This tank is all bomb and no penetration. This tank is all penetration, no bomb. This tank is some penetration with some bomb. Armor piercing is more well-rounded. Armor piercing shell is a little bit more well-rounded. Armor piercing is your basic well-rounded shell that you can use for both. Now your gold round is naturally either going to be better penetration, or it's going to have better damage and penetration, both. The gold round all depends on the tank and what the tank's role is. Now you might think, I don't get it. What the hell is a role? Well, let me give you a brief idea. In the old days, they used to post the roles of the tanks right here. They don't do that anymore. The rolls are gone. I will show you the difference between the rolls and what they use for. Find the right tank for the job here. See, the thing is, a lot of the tanks are sold to save money. I sold a lot of my old tanks I don't need anymore, so a lot of them I don't have. So, okay, we'll pull out a tier 10. This is called a breakthrough. I know, it's complicated. This tank is really a mess. This is called a breakthrough heavy tank. I think the tier 10s. Yeah, see the 10s, the tier 10s, some of the tanks, not all tanks, some tanks, they have the role posted, as you can see. They tell you, it's an IS for, it's elite heavy tank. Elite means that no more modules need to be researched at all. All that has to be researched is the next tier. Okay? The tank has elite status. The tank gets the same benefits as a premium tank does, except you do not get bonus to credits. Premium tanks get bonus to credits. An elite tank gets a small bonus to experience, a small bonus to crew experience, and that's it. They'll give you a very, very small bonus to experience and crew experience. The reason why they'll give you that stuff is because of this reason. They give you that stuff because of, where is it? Because of this. If the tank is on elite status like this, when a tank is elite, you have the option of unlocking this stuff. You can add additional things to it. Like, for example, if you have a tier 10, you can't make the gun better, you can't make the tank run faster. There's no more modules. There's no modules to unlock to make it go faster, make the gun shoot better, make the accuracy better. You can't add a better radio. With the field modifications, you can improve what needs to be done. After grinding that whole tank for an entire, however many months it took you to grind that tank, you've already written down on a piece of, or at least I hope you've written down on a piece of paper what that tank and why that tank sucks, what needs to be worked on. So now that you've done your job and you've written down everything that needs to be worked on, you're going to then go through each of these and determine, which do I need to unlock first? What needs more work? Now, do I need to maintain more speed when crossing over terrain types? Or do I need hull traverse speed and suspension durability? Now, do I want to go faster in general and have a more durable suspension? Or do I want to maintain the same speed while going over different terrain types? Now, the only way you're going to know that is to play the tank. Now, IS-4, I played this tank. I played this tank a lot. This tank has very decent speed. Its speed is, for its size and girth and weight, its speed is admirable. I will say this, its speed is admirable. What I will say is, if it goes over tracks or anything or runs over something, it slows down a little bit. So my guess, if I were to pick anything, I would pick this one, because its overall speed is okay when it travels over something like train tracks, or when it runs over a car, when it tramples a tree. It slows down a little bit, and that little bit of speed makes a difference. So I picked the all-terrain suspension. That would get rid of that minuscule speed difference. It will maintain a constant speed when driving over things. Now, the next thing we'll have to unlock would be these two here. Now, do we want an increase to aiming speed? Or do you want a smaller aiming circle to begin with? When you're shooting at somebody, you have the crosshairs in the middle. Let me show you. Let me show you something. Hold on. I'll show you guys what I mean. I'm not going to go in a match just to show you guys. It's stupid. Okay, now. Okay. See this right here? This, when this circle, when you first reload, circle's gonna be really big. It's gonna be like as big as this circle right here. This is what's called the loading circle. When this circle is empty, that means you just fired a gun. Eventually, little by little, it starts to fill up. So it's getting more and more and more. When this gets fully circleized, you'll hear a shell load into the gun. And this circle here will be the size of this circle here. And little by little, it's going to get smaller and smaller. When the circle gets this size or smaller, then use the crosshairs to fire your gun. If you move the turret or move the gun at all, this circle will get bigger. Every time you move the gun at all, or move the tank in general, this circle will increase in size and you'll have to wait again till it gets smaller. In order to have good aim, in order to have a aiming reticule this small, you need to not move the gun or the tank at all, period. Everything has to stay where it is. Otherwise, the whole aiming circle is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The more you move that gun, and the more you move that tank, it's going to get bigger and bigger. All you have to do is move the turret, the gun, or the tank. If you move anything, that aiming reticule will get bigger. And it's going to take twice as long to get small again. So, aiming is very important. Increasing the aiming speed and reducing the aiming circle size in general, extremely helpful. I cannot express enough. It is extremely helpful, especially when you're playing artillery. Artillery, the aiming circle size is humongous. It's this big. Now, in order to fire an artillery shell, the aiming circle size has to be that big. That's ridiculous. See that? When you first start, aiming circle is this size, okay? When it's okay to take a shot, it has to be this size. Even this, when you fire an artillery shell, and the aiming circle is this size, that bullet can go anywhere in this circle. So if you have your teammate right next to that enemy, you cannot hit your teammate. You have to wait till the circle gets absolutely small as it can be in order to fire that direct hit on top of that enemy. If the shot has to be a direct hit, you have to wait for it to get down as small as you can. If you can't afford a bullet to stray off to a different location, if it has to be dead smack on target, you have to wait for that circle to get as small as humanly possible. Have to wait. You have no choice. If you don't have time, you gotta get that shot off. Just choose a reload, take the shot wild. It'll probably just go off into these wild blue guns someplace. Who cares? As long as you tried. If there's like 3 seconds left on the clock, someone's standing right in front of you, and you're not gonna wait for it to finish loading, the game will be over. Take the shot, wild shot, and hope to God. It does maybe 3/4 of the damage. It's just enough to kill him. Yay! It worked. So you don't exactly need to aim to do damage. If you have an HE round, you don't exactly need to aim perfect in order to do damage. You just need to have it small enough where it's going to do damage. So, artillery, if you want things to be dead spot on, it's got to be as small as humanly possible. When you're firing tank destroyers are not going to have turrets. Okay? So you're going to be forced to move the hull in order to go left and right. So naturally, it's going to pretty much going to look the same as all the other tanks. The only difference is that with tank destroyers, you have to make sure that the aiming reticule is as small as you can get it. That's very important. Know that. Because tank destroyer, once you fire that shot, there's a 50% chance that you'll be spotted. And if you're spotted, you're in big trouble because you don't have a turret. And because you don't have a turret, that means you're going to have to move in order to rotate, and you're already spotted. So all I have to do is blow your track, and you can't move. That's it. You're screwed. You now cannot move unless you use a repair kit to fix the track. That's providing you even have one. If you don't have a repair kit, you're screwed. Armor Flashlight is the new feature that was introduced in World of Tanks 2.0. Armor Flashlight is basically what I showed you guys in the garage. Okay, guys? I showed you guys in the garage there's different types and different colors, you know? And it told you what was a weak spot and what wasn't a weak spot. Well, that's basically what that is. Now you can actually show it all the armor. You could have it only show the weak armor. You could have it only show weak armor so that this way you know where to hit. So you could have it scan, and if you see any colors, period, anything at all, then you'll know where to hit. Or you can have it show you the strong armor only, so you know where to, so again, you'll know where to hit. Or I'll have you show you all of it. See? Personally, I like doing weak armor only because sometimes I know where the weak armor is, but sometimes it's always good to know. Always good to know. Now, you could have a solid, sparse patterns, A dense pattern. What's a solid color? Whatever's easier for you to see. What helps, squint your eyes a little bit, squint them, then try all three and see which one is easier to see. Squint your eyes just a little bit and look at all three and see which one of the three is easier to see. Because sometimes you're looking at a target that's way far down yonder, and that's going to be very hard to see. So naturally, it's going to be very hard to spot something like that. So okay, now opacity. That's whether it's see-through or not. Naturally, you're going to want the opacity to be as high as possible if you want to see the color. Enable it, start a battle, always. Flashlight resolution, keep it at high. Have it at weak armor, have it only show the weak points on the armor. And flashlight texture, always use solid, much easier. Opacity set at 100. World of Tanks 2.0, that's what I suggest. Setting just like this. Okay, guys, so that's that. Okay, guys, so that's all we have for you. That's all we have for you this week. Please tune in on Sunday night for a live stream. We're going to be having another live stream on PlayStation Network. Join us Sunday night, probably about 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Join us for another live stream. 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Please like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, click the notification bell if you wish to be notified when I do my live stream, so you can pop in and see the live stream live instead of just watching it after the fact. Keep in mind, if you comment during a live stream, I will not be able to see it until the live stream is over, because there is no comments being shown on the screen. So if you leave a comment during live streams, anybody, whether you're in PlayStation Network or whether you're in YouTube, if you leave a comment, I cannot see it until the live stream is over. Okay, guys? What you see on the screen is what I see. Until I log on my computer and check it, I will not be able to see anybody's comments. So feel free to comment all you want during the live streams, but I will not know what you're saying until the live stream's over. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification which will be notified when I'm live, and thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.